Black Adam. Yes, in case you didn't know, I love the character Black Adam. I found him very interesting. Welcome to Diego Knows I'm Diego. Okay, and of course, we're going to talk about Black Adam. Okay, the movie. This is part 6 of my review and discussion. I'm talking about the comic books in general as well as just the movie. Okay, now I'm a big comic book fan. Always have been. I've been reading comic books since I was old enough to read. I used to look at comic books before I was old enough to do that. Okay, so I'm a big comic book fan. I know what I'm talking about when it comes to my comic books. All right. Now, my only regret in life is that when I was a kid, we had the TV shows, a few TV shows like Batman and stuff, and we had the comic books and we had the cartoon shows and stuff, but we didn't really have the movies. When I was a little boy, the only movies that we had the Christopher Reeve Superman, we had the Michael Keaton Batman. I was already a teenager when that came out. Okay, so we didn't really have that many superhero movies. Okay, the stuff that we had when I was a kid. When I was a toddler, we had the fucking the Captain America, the 2 Captain America TV show movies, and then as a teenager, we got the fucking piece of shit straight to video, low budget fucking Captain America movie with Matt Salinger, who's the son of J.D. Salinger, who wrote Catcher in the Rye. And that's the only famous person in that fucking movie. Okay, and Ned Beatty was in it. Captain America's famous carjacking scene. We also had like the Punisher. That was with Dolph Lundgren. That was in '89. I was a teenager for that. And he went from playing Rocky and He-Man and Drago in the Rocky 4. He went from that to fucking playing the Punisher in a direct-to-video movie. Okay, with Louis Gossett Jr. no less. All right. We had the Incredible Hulk TV show with Lou Ferrigno and Bill Bixby, which I loved, but I was a little kid. I could barely understand it. I just remember I liked it when his eyes turned, white, green, and then he turned into the fucking Hulk. He turned into Lou Ferrigno with green body paint on. I thought that was cool. Okay, and then we had the Christopher Reeve Superman movies, but that was it. We didn't really have a lot as far as superhero movies go. It wasn't like today, where we have these movies like 3 or 4 every year, big budget movies. Okay, we didn't have that when I was a kid. Okay, not very much, not very often. Okay, so it bothers me that when I was a kid, as a little boy, reading comic books, because that's what kids used to do back in the day, reading comic books. I was transported into this magical world, with these incredible characters, these incredible powers and stuff, and it was very dramatic, and the artwork was so good. I wanted to become an artist because of this stuff, so it was my favorite thing in the whole world to do, was to read my fucking comic books and see what my characters were going to get up to this week, all right? Because they came out every week, and I absolutely loved it. Okay, but it wasn't until I was an adult that they started making the fucking movies, all right? Can you imagine? This is the shit that I was fantasizing about as a kid. I already seen these movies in my imagination when I was a kid, and now as an adult, as a fucking adult, now I'm watching them in the movie theater, okay? Which is weird. So weird. I remember the way I felt when I saw Spider-Man 2. With Alfred Molina played Dr. Octopus, that was in 2004. And I remember watching that scene, the subway scene where they were fighting, where Spider-Man and Dr. Octopus were fighting on top of a train. And I remember thinking to myself, oh my God, this is a comic book. This is what it's like to read a comic book. But by that time, I was already like 30 years old or something, or late 20s or some shit. Yeah, so it's like, this is the shit that I was watching in my imagination when I was a little boy. And now I'm an adult and I'm watching it on the big screen. Weird, huh? I know. But anyway, that's what's happened. Okay, now I'm middle-aged and all these all this shit that I was reading about, that I was in love with when I was a little boy. When the kids would make fun of me for watching that. Now it's mainstream. Now everybody's into it. Okay, once the hot girls start wearing fucking superhero t-shirts, it's gone mainstream. Okay, once the popular kids start talking about how cool they are, then that you're fucking, the hobby that used to get your ass kicked from school every fucking day has gone mainstream. All right, and that's what happened. That's what it feels like. That's what's happened. All right, so it was only a matter of time before they put Black Adam up there as well. Okay, I love his character. He's basically an evil Superman, but they did it the right way. He's an evil Captain Marvel. He's an evil Captain Marvel. He's supposed to be. He's not anymore, but he's supposed to be an evil Captain Marvel. Okay, and his powers are magical based, that kind of thing. So they decided to make this movie. Now, I already told you before in other videos that the biggest problem I have with this movie is this character is not Black Adam. Okay, he's called Black Adam, yes, I know, but he is not actually Black Adam. Black Adam is evil. He is not an anti-hero who's only an anti-hero for like maybe 5 years in the comic books. Okay, now when you consider that Black Adam has been around since 1941, 1945, he's been around. He was only, that's like what, fucking, that's 80 fucking something years ago. And only for like 5 years of that was he an anti-hero. Okay, the rest of the time he was a straight up fucking, I'm gonna murder you, your mom, and your kids villain. Okay, that's what he was. But they decided, The Rock decided to go with the 5 years of when he was an anti-hero. That's what we're gonna go with. Okay, because that's gonna be true. That's for the fans. No, the fans did not like him as an anti-hero. That's why they turned him back into a villain. Okay, he was only an anti-hero from like 1997 to like okay, it might have been 1999 until like 2003, 2004, and then they brought him back to being a villain again. Okay, so it wasn't that long. He was an anti-hero. Okay, so that's the way they decided to go, because the Rock is not going to play a bad guy anymore. Okay, he's too much of a high-profile actor. He's too successful. He's not going to play a bad guy. Bad guys get killed in their movies. Okay, they don't show up for the fucking 5th sequel and shit. Okay, and that's what he wants. He wants the cash grab. He wants the fucking franchise. Okay, he tried Fast and Furious, but they kind of booted him out of that. Vin Diesel kicked him off of that franchise. So what else has he got? They have made no sequels to Moana, so he can't do that anymore. It's too late now. The kids that love Moana are all like fucking in high school now. So what does he have? The Scorpion King, that fizzled out 20 fucking years ago. So what does he have? What franchise does The Rock have? Okay, Jumanji, right? Yes, but Jumanji, the last Jumanji movie didn't make any money. Okay, the one that he was in, the first one he was in, made a lot of money. It was a sleeper. It made almost $1 billion. Nobody saw that coming. But the second one didn't make nearly as much. So that franchise is pretty much dead. Okay, so what else has he got? To keep the cash flow coming in. Okay, I'm sure his wife has some very expensive tastes. So so what is he gonna do? He's got to hop onto the fucking superhero franchise. Now apparently he's been working on this movie for 15 years, which is a long time. So you would think that after 15 years they should have produced a better script. A better story, but they didn't. There's a lot of superhero cliches in here. Now, I know a lot of people are talking about how great this movie is right now because it's not woke, and that's why the liberal media hates it. That's why the critics are all fucking. They're basically fucking admonishing this movie. Okay, lots of vitriol, hatred towards this movie, but that's because it's not woke enough for them. Okay, and they also know what's happened at Warner Brothers. Got bought by Discovery recently, and David Zaslav has been fucking firing everybody. He's been cutting a lot of jobs, just like Elon Musk is doing right now. So there is a culture shift going on. Okay, but he's basically destroying all the projects they have that he doesn't think are going to make any money, which means anti-woke. Okay, he's going against all the woke shit because it's been losing fucking money. They've been flushing money down the toilet for a long fucking time now. Okay, it's time to make something that people actually want to watch and can get behind. And look at Top Gun Maverick. Holy shit, was that a movie we needed today? Okay, now even if you don't agree with the politics, even if you hate America, even if you think they're fucking, oh god, another fucking boys movie, patriarchy, toxic masculinity, it's all about fucking America, how they're this industrial empire, that they hurt other countries, and they go, we don't need that. Okay, well actually we do. You know why? Because we haven't fucking had it. We haven't had that in a long fucking time. Can you imagine that? A movie about a straight, heterosexual white guy who does incredible fucking action things, gets the girl, does not get his balls cut off, and is pro-America? Are you crazy? You really think the liberal dominated fucking Hollywood would ever allow that to happen? Well, they did with Top Gun, and it fucking made over $1 billion, okay? This is what I'm talking about, okay? This wasn't about what the critics wanted. This wasn't what Hollywood wanted. It was what the people wanted. And even if you don't agree with it, even if you fucking still think America's a piece of shit and fucking patriarchy, even if you are that type of person, the bottom line is we haven't seen a Top Gun Maverick in a long time. We miss it. We haven't seen a movie like that in a long time. It's been a long fucking time since we've seen a movie like this. That's why it made so much money. It was a novelty. It's a novelty. That's what liberals used to be, a novelty. Oh, here's a movie that actually talks about women's rights for a change. Yes, that used to be a cool new thing. Oh my God, look at all these ideas we can get out. Well, we've run that one dry. Okay, nobody wants to see that shit anymore. Nobody wants to see another fucking, I'm a fucking lesbian, confused about my sexuality, and I'm just gonna fucking cheat on my husband because I fell in love with a woman, because she's fucking black and trans. Get the fuck out of here. We're tired of that shit. Aren't we tired of that? Aren't we fucking tired of it? I know that's what the critics want. That's what Hollywood wants. That's what the Cannes Festival wants, and that's what the fucking Academy Award, the Oscars want. That's what the insiders in Hollywood want. But you know what? Who doesn't want that? The fucking people that spend their fucking money on movies. They don't want that. They don't want that. Hollywood's making these fucking piece of shit movies for themselves. They're not making it for us. They're not making it for the average person, okay? Despite what your politics are, I don't want to go into a fucking movie and be lectured to about what a piece of shit I am because I was born with a fucking penis. Or because I'm not black. The only thing is give the shit that I'm fucking Mexican. Nobody's sticking up for us. Where are all our fucking movies? Where's our movies? Huh? Where? We only got one fucking guy in Hollywood, Lin-Manuel Miranda. He's the only motherfucker, and he's paid off by the corporations own his ass. He's our Latinx representation, okay? Which means he gave us that piece of shit West Side Story. He gave us Encanto, which wasn't very good, okay? The biggest thing that he's known for is fucking Hamilton, which is all black cast. They took all the white people from the signing of the Declaration of Independence, and they turned them all black. That's what he's known for, and he's not even fucking black. He's the one that's going on with the Latinx. And you know why he's doing it? You know why he's sucking Hollywood's dick and proclaiming himself as the Latin representation of Hollywood? Is because he knows goddamn well that he doesn't do what he's fucking told. They'll get another fucking Hispanic in there to take his fucking place. He don't want that to happen. That's why. He's just another fucking slave. Anyway, I know I digress. But the point is that we don't want that, okay? We want to be entertained, okay? And what Black Adam succeeds in, no, The Rock did not do this for the fans. If he'd done it for the comic book fans like me, he would have kept Black Adam evil, okay? Now I know he says he's evil and he's not a hero, but come on, he's a fucking good guy, okay? They made him an anti-hero, okay? And Black Adam's not an anti-hero. It does not fucking work, okay? And this movie is woke. This movie is woke. Not as woke as some other shit. It's not as woke as fucking Good Morning. Where the fuck's out there right now? The Olivia Wilde movie. Actually, I'm not gonna watch that shit. Or the fucking or TV shows like Batwoman, which thank God got canceled. Shit like that, dude. That shit's woke. That's more woke than this. But it's still kind of woke, okay? I mean, they race swap Hawkman. Why'd they do that? Why did they turn Hawkman black? He was never black in the comic books, and he's been around since the 1940s. Why did they turn him black? They didn't have to do that. Well, there's too much white people. Well, you know what? The main character of the movie, Black Adam is not fucking white. Okay, he's not fucking white. Okay, he's Middle Eastern. He's Arabian. He's not fucking white. Now, Dwayne Johnson is one of those people. He looks like he could pass for Samoan, which he is, black, which he is, Mexican maybe. He could pass for Egyptian like he did in The Mummy Returns. He can pass for all sorts of different races. Okay, so yes, even the main character is not white. So why do you have to take supporting characters and turn them black? It's fucking stupid. You turn fucking Cyclone black. She's a fucking redhead, white girl in the comic books. Representation? No, that's not representation. Okay, there's plenty of black people you could have used. Instead of taking a white character and turning them black. Okay, there's a lot of characters you could have used. Okay, why didn't you bring the fucking Green Lantern in there? Okay, you could have brought in anybody. You could have brought in Mr. Terrific. The second one, he's black. You could have brought in Joaquin Thunder. He's black. But they didn't do that. No, they had to fucking take Hawkman and turn him black. Okay, that pisses me off. It's shit like that pisses me off. Okay, how about Amanda Waller? How come they didn't make her white? Okay, that would have pissed me off too because she's black in the comic books. Okay, so yeah, it is bullshit. It's shit like no, it is woke. It's just not as woke. Okay, it's not as woke. All right. So anyway, we're introduced to the JSA. Now, where I left off in my review last time, I went on a tangent. But where I left off in my review last time, okay, is Black Adam got injured by Eternium. Okay, so Adriana, the main character, her and her brother Kareem, they decided to take him back to their house since he's injured, he's unconscious. All right, and of course he's crackling with electricity and shit. They're afraid, but they're gonna do it anyway. All right, now we're introduced to the JSA for the very first time in this movie. Okay, and we see basically Hawkman. He's been looking at all this footage of the destruction that Black Adam caused in Kandak when he was fighting the intergang military, the tanks, the jeeps, the soldiers, the bazookas, the helicopters. He was fighting them all, destroyed all of them. All this was filmed. Okay, so he's watching it, and Amanda Waller is giving him a briefing of the situation. Okay, she's telling him basically, hey, they dug up this guy, Black Adam or Death Adam. He's been asleep for 5,000 years. And now he's disorientated. He just woke up. This is what he did. You can see what he did. So she's briefing on the situation. Hawkman's she's like, what do you think? He's like, well, Hawkman, who's played by Eldris Hodge, this black guy actor, and I remember him. He was in Die Hard 3. He's one of the kids, one of Samuel Jackson's nephews in that one. But apparently he's done a lot of us. I don't really follow his career. Okay, but apparently he's done a lot of other stuff. I know he was in this movie called One Night in Philadelphia or One Night in Manhattan or some shit. I don't know. I never saw it, but I think it's on Netflix or Amazon Prime. It's a movie where fucking Muhammad Ali and Malcolm X and what's his name? Who's the football player guy? I can't remember his name. I can't remember his name right now. But anyway, all these guys, all these famous black people from the '60s, all met together one night and had a conversation. That actually never happened in real life. But I know this guy plays one of those guys. I think he plays. I can't remember his name, but it's some football player from the 1960s. I can't remember his name though. But anyway, something Jones. Am I right? Something Jim Jones or God, fuck if I know. I don't know. I don't follow 1960s football. But anyway, yeah, and it never happened in real life. But this movie's gonna make you think it did, because this was the racist 60s and white people bad, black people good type shit. All right, he was in that. Okay, he was in that. All right. So that's going on. Okay, and he basically tells Amanda Waller, played by what's her name? You know who she is. She was just in that movie, fucking The Woman King. Yeah, The Woman King. Yeah, what the fuck was a Woman King? Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Fucking what is Amanda Waller's character? She's played by Viola Davis. Sorry, Viola Davis. Yes, Viola Davis is Amanda Waller. Okay, and she's evil. She's evil as fuck, but she's on our side. Okay, so he says, I think this loose cannon needs to be locked down before innocent people get hurt. That's what he tells her. Okay, and he tells her that he'll have his team, which consists of Dr. Fate, Atom Smasher, and Cyclone ready to go in 30 minutes. Okay, and Amanda says the longer he has to adapt, the harder it will be to take him down. So the longer Black Adam has to adapt to the modern era, the harder it's going to be to take him down. Okay. He tells her, hey, listen, Amanda, okay, you find a cell that's strong enough to hold him, and I'll take him down. Guaranteed. We'll bring him in. All right. So he goes over. We're introduced to a montage of the JSA, the Justice Society of America. Now, for those of you who do not know, the JSA was the precursor to the Justice League of America. Okay, the JSA came out in the 1940s. It was one of those World War II comic books that came out back then. The original consisted of like the Spectre, Dr. Fate, Hawkman was in there, the Flash was in there, the original Flash, Jay Garrick, not Barry Allen. Okay, I know Wonder Woman was the secretary. They also had the Sandman, Wesley Dodds. They had Johnny Thunder. Okay, basically the Atom, Al Pratt, the Atom. Okay, this was a team of superheroes from World War II. The Green Lantern, the original Green Lantern, Alan Scott. This was a team of superheroes from World War II. They had their own comic books. Most of them had their own comic books. Some of them shared a comic book with another superhero. Okay, Mr. Terrific, there's another one, Dr. Midnight. And they had their own team. This is the first superhero team in comic book history. Okay, where all these characters that had their own comic books got together for one comic book to team up and fight bad guys. All right, the Justice Society of America. Okay, they were very popular for a while. Okay, and when World War II ended, the popularity fizzled. I believe the comic book was called All American Comics, and it fizzled out and got canceled when all the superheroes got canceled. Okay, in the late 40s. Okay, mid to late 40s, all the superhero comics got canceled, but they were popular during World War II. Okay, the soldiers that were fighting, they loved to read these issues. They also liked to read Captain America comic books back then too, during World War II. That was a popular comic book as well. Okay, so that's what it was. Okay, it was a superhero team. I think it was the first one ever. Okay, it was a superhero team, the Justice Society of America. Now, what they decided to do in the modern era, by that I mean like the 80s, they decided to retcon everything so that they existed in the modern era, but they were older. Not World War II older, just like a good 20 years older than the current generation of superheroes. Okay. But they always brought them back. They were never as popular as the Justice League of America. The Justice League of America, that was a team that consisted of the A-list superheroes from the modern era: Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. Yes, I know Wonder Woman was on the other team too. Okay. And the modern day Green Lantern, we know Hal Jordan, and the modern day Flash, Barry Allen, that kind of stuff. Okay. Aquaman was in there too. So was Martian Manhunter and the original team. Okay. That kind of stuff. All right. And then later on, Superman and Batman joined. Okay. A lot of knowledge, I know, right? Okay. So, so that's who they were. They're not as popular. So basically, they're Justice League light. They're the B team of Justice League. even though they are older and have been around longer, with the exception of Superman. Well, actually, Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman have been around longer than the JSA, but Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman are more popular than the JSA. Therefore, they get retconned into the modern day superheroes. Okay, so there's always going to be a modern day Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, even though they came out before the Justice Society of America did. They don't want to include them with the old Golden Age heroes because they always want to keep Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman new. They always want to keep them modern, relevant to the modern audience. So they always have to keep recycling them into the modern era so that they're never like the superheroes from back then. They're the superheroes of today. And they retconned it. They had a golden age version of Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. That's what they did. It's like, okay, yeah. Well, the ones that were around back then, that wasn't the ones that are today. These are an alternate universe version where those superheroes showed up decades earlier than when they showed up in our universe. You see what I mean? That's how they did it. Okay. Back to the movie. So we get a montage of all the JSA members. We have Cyclone. Her name is what the hell is her name? Maxine Humble or Hunkle. Yeah, whatever. Now Maxine Hunkle. Now her name is Cyclone. She's actually the third character. The first, her grandma was Maybelle Ma Hunkle, who was the Red Tornado back in the 1940s. She was this fat woman that wore a red suit, and I think she had like a saucepan on her fucking head. Yeah, something like that. She's a ridiculous character. She created tornadoes, whatever. Yeah, and she was white. Okay, and then they decided to come out with an android, with a ripoff of the Vision, the android with the big collar, you know, and they ripped off the Vision. They came out with a character called the Red Tornado. Okay, so they couldn't, and obviously this wasn't the same woman, so that was Red Tornado 2. And then they decided, well, what about her granddaughter? And they couldn't call her Red Tornado 3 because the Red Tornado 2 robot android was still around. So they decided to call her Cyclone instead. She was a ginger, and she can create tornadoes like you saw in the movie. That's what she can do, but she was white. And they turned her into, like, I guess she's mixed or something now. Don't get me wrong, she's a beautiful girl. She's a beautiful girl. Okay, and she's like a C-list, D-list character, so nobody really gives a shit if they race swap her. Nobody really cared. I just like, okay, you know what? If you're gonna stick to the comic continuity, stick to the fucking comic continuity. Okay, if you're just gonna start race changing everybody, then fuck it, dude. Just make Superman black already. What the fuck, right? Make Batman Asian, make Wonder Woman a man or trans. Just fucking do it already. Okay, you know why they're not gonna do it? Because they know they're gonna lose all their fucking money if they do it. That's why. Hence, that proves my argument. Okay, this shit does not fucking work. It doesn't fucking work. All right. Now, having said this, I will say this Eldris Hodge guy, he does actually do a really good job as Hawkman. He acts like Hawkman. He talks like Hawkman. Okay, he just doesn't look like Hawkman. But other than that, his performance is fine. I think he's great as Hawkman. Playing how he just doesn't look like Hawkman. He's got the personality down. He's got the moves down. He's got the attitude down. All that shit is on point. That is Hawkman. Okay, but he doesn't look like Hawkman. All right, and I can't get past it. I'm sorry, I can't get past it. Can't get past it. You know? I mean, would you want to see Black Panther starring Brad Pitt? Of course not. All right. Okay, so that's going on here. And then we're introduced to her, okay? Blah, blah, blah. She's got these candy striped leggings on. She's got these pumps on. She's got frizzy red hair, you know, whatever. So she's like the happy-go-lucky young, you know, the fucking, the Zoomer, you know. You know, she's the Zoomer character, represents the young crowd, the early 20s. She's a genius IQ, you know, whatever. She's basically the pixie girl, the happy-go-lucky, always optimistic, always smiling, pretty, skinny, white, you know, girl. I was going to say white, but she's not white. She looks like she's half white or something at least. Okay, optimist. She's young. She's the fucking pixie. Okay, pretty much she's got a 167 IQ, so she's super smart. Okay, then we're introduced to Atom Smasher. Now he's this fucking Jewish kid. Okay, in his 20s, obviously. His grandpa is Fonzie from Happy Days. Hey, no, okay, no, it's Henry Winkler. Okay, now funny thing about Henry Winkler is his career has been based on playing fucking Italian Guidos. Okay, the first movie he did was The Lords of Flatbush, and I think that came out in the late 60s or like 1970. Okay, that movie, it would star Sylvester Stallone, who's filmed in New York. That's where Flatbush is, okay? And there's about these greaser bikers, Italian bikers. Henry Winkler was one of them, okay? And so was Sylvester Stallone. So was Richard Gere. But Richard Gere got into a fight with Sylvester Stallone when they were making the movie. Sylvester Stallone had Richard Gere fired from that movie. So I guess they didn't like each other because they were both on Kojak together. They're both guest starring episodes of Kojak. All right, but anyway. So they didn't like each other. Someone got him fired. But because he played a greaser, because Henry Winkler played a greaser in a leather jacket with his slick back hair, when he went to LA to continue his acting career, he got cast as Arthur Fonzarelli on Happy Days, and Fonzarelli became the breakout character of the show. I used to watch that show. I had no idea it took place in the past, you know? I watched Happy Days when I was a kid. Okay, I did. Everybody, my whole family, we all watched Happy Days. Laverne and Shirley, all that fucking shit. Mork and Mindy, yeah, he first appeared on Happy Days. So did Laverne and Shirley. Well, it's all Gary Marshall did all that shit. The guy who did Pretty Woman, the last movie I ever reviewed. But anyway, so yeah, Henry Winkler became, Arthur Fonzarelli, who's the stereotype Guido Italian fucking punk, leather jacket biker type guy from the 1950s. Okay, think Grease. Okay, think T-Birds from Greece, all right? And he played, I'm telling this for you young kids, okay? Those of you out there my age already know what the fuck I'm talking about. I know I'm sounding redundant. For those of you kids that are watching this video, I'm trying to school you on this shit, all right? And of course, Ron Howard was on that show too before he became a big famous director. He was a child star. He was Opie on fucking the Andy Griffith show, and then he grew up and became Richie Cunningham on Happy Days. Then he quit that show to become a director. The first movie he ever directed was called Night Heat. That was Michael Keaton's movie debut, and Henry Winkler was also in that one. Okay, now the thing about Henry Winkler is even though he became famous for playing an Italian Guido type, biker, Arthur Fonzarelli, ladies' man type guy, he's actually Jewish as fuck. And what I mean by that is he not only does, when he's not playing Fonzie, okay, he's actually a very soft-spoken guy. He's got the Jewish accent, he's very, very Jewish. Okay, very Jewish. I mean, you could see it on him, okay? His mannerisms, everything he's very Jewish. Okay, and he acts that way in real life. Okay, that's who he really is. Okay, so whenever I would see Henry Winkler not playing Fonzie, I'll be like, oh my god, this guy is he's such a like beta type, but like a whiny, weaselly voice, He kind of talks like this, kind of like Jerry Lewis a bit, who's also Jewish. Okay, so it's like who he really is not Fonzie. Okay, he's actually very soft-spoken, very reserved type of guy. Okay, very intelligent guy. He's not he's like, hey, Mrs. C. He's not like he's not Joey from fucking Friends. Okay, but that's what Fonzie is. All right. So of course, that's who Henry Winkler really is. Okay, and his character in this movie is the Atom. He plays the first Atom, Al Pratt, who in the comic books was this short little guy with atomic punching powers. Okay, he initially had no powers, but then they gave him some powers. Okay, and he was a superhero. He cannot change size, but apparently in this movie, he bequeaths his fucking costume to his grandson. Okay, and this is going to be his first outing as not as Atom, but as Atom Smasher. Okay, now the reason his grandson cannot be Atom number 2 is because there's already an Atom number 2, okay? The Atom, Henry Winkler's character, Al Pratt, was from the Golden Age, from World War II. In the Silver Age, in the late 50s, early 60s, there was a new superhero called the Atom, okay? They adopted that name. They were revamping all the superheroes at that time. DC Comics was doing that. They revamped the Flash first. Okay, and then they started revamping everyone else. Green Lantern, Hawkman, and they revamped the Atom as well. So they changed the Atom. The new Atom was not Al Pratt. He was not some short guy who wore a mask and a costume and punched people. He was actually a scientist, a physicist, okay, named Ray Palmer, who was a university professor, okay, and he found some dwarf matter meteorite. Okay, he made a costume out of it, and it allowed him to change his size. He did not grow big, but he did shrink small. Okay, so he could shrink down to the microscopic universe and have adventures over there. Okay, or he could shrink so small he could travel on an electron through your phone lines and end up somewhere else through your phone. He could do a lot of shit like that. Okay, and while he was small, he still retained the strength of an adult human man. So he could fight crime and knock people out and shit, even though he was this big, kind of like Ant-Man. He actually came out before Ant-Man. Ant-Man was a ripoff of the Atom. Okay, so yeah, his name was Ray Palmer. He was the second Adam. He did make his debut though, not in the movies, but on television. He was played by Brandon Routh on the Arrow show, Arrow. Okay, and then later on the TV show Legends of Tomorrow, which is a piece of shit. Okay, I'm glad it got canceled, but he got fired before it got canceled. All right, Brandon Routh, and he's also famous for playing Superman in that piece of shit 2006 movie, Superman Returns. Okay, I call that the gay bar Superman. Okay, that's what he was, the gay bar Superman, because it was directed by Bryan Singer. Okay, and it also starred Kevin Spacey. Okay, yeah, gay bar to fucking heaven. All right, yes. Okay. Anyway, so yes. That's Adam number 2, okay? Adam number 3 is someone else, okay? So they couldn't use the Adam name anymore, so they called him Adam Smasher. Now in the comic books, Adam Smasher, Al Rothstein, that's his name. He was friends with Black Adam, okay? He was, okay? He actually looked up to Black Adam. Okay, no pun intended. Okay, but Adam Smasher, he's introduced here. He's a nervous beta male kid. He wants to please his grandpa. His grandpa, Henry Winkler, Fonzie, is telling him, hey, listen to Carter. Okay, you do what he says. Okay, does the suit fit? That kind of thing. Okay, in a room, yeah. Magical power, Hawkman, blah, blah. So he's telling him, hey, basically, listen to Carter, do what he says, be safe, take care of yourself, take care of you, blah, 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 that kind of thing. He's like, don't worry, Grandpa, I promise I'll make you proud, then he hangs up on him, all right? So we're introduced to him, okay? Da-da-da. And then he tells Amanda Waller that he managed to get Dr. Fate out of retirement. Dr. Fate, played by Pierce Bronson. Yes, Remington Steele himself. And yeah, I know he was James Bond back in the 90s. He was James Bond in the 90s. I know that. Yes, I do. He was also in Lawnmower Man. He was also Mrs. Doubtfire. Okay. He was in a lot of fucking shit. Okay. I want to say Talented Mr. Ripley, but he's been in a lot of shit, okay? But I remember him as Remington Steele from that TV show in the fucking 80s. I get them and Scarecrow and Mrs. King confused. Okay, with Scarecrow and Mrs. King, that was Kate Jackson and Bruce Boxleitner, sorry. Anyway. And we will talk about Dr. Fate and Hawkman in the next video, all right? So thank you for watching part 6. I will see you soon on part 7. Thank you very much.